Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be joined by my co-host, Kathleen Bradley. Welcome, young lady.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Yes, and we have a special guest here who you were just recently working on a film on, Lydia Cornell. Tell us sort of about the film just a second.
Oh,
and
you know
how
it.
you worked with her.
Yeah, something about Mother. We worked on a film just recently that was just premiered, and it's a film short. And it's really very nice and refreshing. It's about prayer and miracles and what have you. But Lydia and I have known each other for several years, being involved with David Marrish Productions. He would have different celebrities go around to golf tournaments, bowling. We worked for different charities, and just a group of us that we always were together and had a great time. Unfortunately, David has passed on, but he brought together a group of wonderful actors and people that we've stayed together and networked together for so many years, thanks to him. And she's one of my dear friends now. Lydia,
I love you.
welcome.
I love you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. It's so good to meet you, Dr.
Sure, yeah, a pleasure, sure. Tell us about getting into the business and how you got bitten by the acting bug, how you got started. I know you've worked hard over many years and been in a lot of shows.
How I got bitten. I walked onto the set or the backstage of Pinocchio. My father was playing first violin in the orchestra, and he let me play around the scenery, and I went into the whale, and I became in love with theater. And I also love make-believe. So I wanted to have a life in make-believe. Can you imagine?
Inside the whale's belly, huh? Okay.
Inside the whale.
That's a new one.
And then we went to Disneyland when I was 5 or 6, and I became enthralled with Disney. I got lost in Sleeping Beauty's castle. And then I started taking acting classes at the YMCA in El Paso, Texas. And I speak Spanish fluently. And then we moved to New York, and I was in every play in high school. But I had bad skin, so I played the boy in Othello. I played a torchbearer. And the gorgeous cheerleader, the blonde bombshell cheerleader, got Desdemona. So the only friend in high school was a gay guy named Monroe. And so we were in every play together. We were in Enemy of the People. I played Petra. He was Oslick's son. Right. We were torchbearers in Othello with big sideburns. And I was in this land of just make-believe, Playboy of the Western world. We did a play in Spanish. And then I didn't know you could make a living doing this. And I kept trying to figure out, how can I get to Hollywood? And my parents said, you can never make a living in the arts. Because my father, a violinist, learned the hard way. So after my father died in Holland, they had moved to Europe. And I graduated at University of Colorado. And I started thinking, how can I get into showbiz from Colorado? Well, where I was in college, there was a recording studio called Caribou Ranch. And it's where Billy Joel was recording. John Lennon was up there, Michael Jackson. And I got a job there.
Oh, wow.
And I got to pick Joni Mitchell up at the airport, Carole King. I crashed Billy Joel into a snowbank. And I got fired.
Did he write a song about it?
Right.
I was starstruck.
Sure.
Right.
So I figured, how can I get to Hollywood? Finally.
Not going to
Maneuvering sideways.
Right. Avoiding the snowbanks.
Yeah. I got out to Hollywood working for Epic Records. And so this studio, SIR, is so cool. It's a legendary place.
And very epic itself. Sure.
Yeah. And then when I got to Hollywood, I walked into a restaurant one night on a date with an agent. I was only in town a few days. And Natalie Wood, Aaron Spelling, Robert Wagner, and Fred Astaire at the front booth. And the agent introduces me. I'm so starstruck, I'm shaking. And while we're having dinner right across from them, Natalie Wood, I swear did this happen, she summons me over to the table with her index finger, and I'm like, me?
I'm not a waitress.
And I go over there, and she goes, Mr. Spelling would like to meet you. So I got my first love boat. And I went to visit the casting director the next day, and it was so funny. I'm on the set in a bikini, my first Love Boat episode. And I looked right in the camera. I did my line, and the director goes, hey, darling, hey, bimbo. I don't think he called me bimbo, but in my memory banks, he called me. And he said, you don't look in the camera when you're acting. And I went, I knew that, but I was so nervous. And then 3 days later, I got an audition for this new show, Too Close for Comfort.
Sure.
And I got to the audition, walk in, I'm late. I took a bus to get there. And it was KTLA Studios.
Right.
And I come in and the secretary says, I'm sorry, they've already seen 400 Girls, you're late. I start to cry. Arnie Sultan, who created Get Smart with Mel Brooks, he comes out of the office where they were casting and he says, oh, let her read. She looks the part. I was the last girl. This is actually a true story.
Right.
I go into the office. There's Marcy Carsey, Tom Werner. They were later big producers
Yes,
of
of
Roseanne and
course,
Third
yeah.
Rock from the Sun.
Marcy, of course.
know
Marcy
that.
Warner is the dynamic duo.
And there was a couple other people in the casting director. And I read the lines, and there's a line that says, Sarah gives Dad a raspberry. So I'm looking at Arnie Sultan. I'm reading with him. And I said my line, I think it was, in case you haven't noticed, we're two very sophisticated young women. So I looked for an imaginary raspberry. I go, so there. And Arnie goes, what the hell are you handing me here? What planet are you from? And I said, Texas. I think I said Texas. And he goes, you know what a raspberry is? And the whole room starts to do a Bronx cheer. A raspberry in showbiz lingo is a big, okay, you do it.
Giving them the
like-
ras.
That's a raspberry.
Oh, okay.
They
I didn't know that
Right,
either.
right, that's right.
They
So
go,
the
she's
kids.
so dumb, she's perfect for the part.
Ah, right. Oh,
No,
I didn't know that
She doesn't
either.
have to act. It'll
Ras-
come.
I didn't
It'll
know
come
ras-
after.
Thank
That's
you,
right. The kids.
And
Well,
the
it was the kids. No,
razzmatazz.
I thought too.
Oh my
I thought you were
God.
going to say maybe they wanted to twist it this way.
Uh-uh.
But I want to
So-
back up to before you press on too much more though with the Love Boat, because I mean I know you did at least half a dozen episodes on that. That's an amazing cast now.
Yeah.
And the show. Talk to us about sort of being on set and working with Gavin and those types of things.
God. Well, I was so nervous during this particular episode. But oddly enough, Audrey Meadows was in this episode with Artie Johnson.
Sure.
Later, Audrey Meadows played my grandmother on She Goes for Comfort, which is a little serendipitous. There's a really serendipitous story. I call it a God shot that I have to tell you in a minute. But I've ended up doing 6 Love Boats.
Right.
On every hiatus, I do a Love Boat. I did Fantasy Island, 2 hotels.
Sure.
I did a whole series, a season of Aaron Spelling shows,
Yes.
just for being on a series. And it was kind of the perks of the 80s. You know, you're allowed to go off and do these fun shows.
Right.
Love Boat was amazing. So I'm really good friends with Jill Whelan.
Mhm.
Gavin was one of Ted Knight's best friends
Yeah.
in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But back to really, let me just finish this
Yeah.
too close thing. They said, what time can you be at the callbacks tomorrow? After the raspberry incident, they thought she's perfect. She's perfect for the show. And I went into ABC Network to meet with the head of the network. There were only 5 girls called back. And all the other girls were wearing their boobs hanging out and tight shorts and cutoffs and really sexy. And I came in wearing a virginal flowered dress, looking like a virgin. And they wanted a virginal sex symbol. And so I read with Ted Knight, and they were laughing and clapping. Marcy Carsey, Tony Thomopoulos, the president of ABC, all these people. And at the end of it, Deborah Von Valkenburg, who plays my sister, she said to me, "What?" They came up to me and they said, "You have the part. We never do this, but you got the part of Sarah Rush with Ted Knight on Too Close for Comfort for ABC." And I was so green and young, I didn't really know what cool, you know. And Deborah Von Valkenburg says to me, "What's your name again?" I said, "Lydia Cornell. It's some weird Russian name. I've got to find a new name." And she said, "Kornilov. I work for a Gregory Kornilov, but he's in Holland now.
Mhm.
But he was in a shipping company called Interpol." And I went, "That's my father."
Wow.
What?
So the girl who played my sister for all these years, and we're still best friends, she worked for my dad out of 10 million people in New York City.
Wow. Get out of here.
So there are no coincidences. I just think it's
Oh, wow. So that was your dad. And then she suggested you, or did you want to change your name and shorten your name?
I had to come up with something really quickly, so I said Cornell, out of thin air.
Oh, so you did say your real name. And you're from Holland.
No. My father was born in Russia and raised in Shanghai.
Oh, okay.
And he's a
I
violinist.
wasn't sure there.
And then my mother was from Texas, and she's actually her great grandmother was Harriet Beecher Stowe,
Hmm?
who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh, yes.
My grandfather was Henry Ward Beecher Stowe. And so I grew up in this iconic,
Famous
I wish I'd met her. I never
family.
got to meet my great-great-grandmother.
Wow, that's amazing, kid. That's some heavy lineage there.
Isn't
girl.
that cool?
And yeah,
So talk to us about sort of going into so many of these different roles, because your personality obviously did have to change for them, and you did a lot of different shows.
I was so green and new that I just went from immediately working nonstop. Our show got picked up every year. We were a hit in the top 10.
Yeah.
We were on the hottest night of ABC, which was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, Too Close for Comfort, and Heart to Heart.
Right.
And so it was a very exciting time. And they would send us around in the summer. I would go to Monte Carlo and play tennis, with Prince Albert and Sean Connery and Roger Moore and all these crazy celebrities. And Gavin McLeod would be there, and I'd do tennis tournaments around the country.
Wow.
Just celebrity tennis. It was so
Did you
wacky.
really play?
Well, actually, I was a player when I was younger, but no. At these tournaments, you were just drinking.
Okay,
It was like
show
a
up.
drinking circuit.
Yes, right.
And now I'm 30 years sober, so I don't drink at all,
Good for
but
you.
through a spiritual awakening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Give us some, I don't know if because that's the second time now you mentioned Heart to Heart and Robert Wood, and any other interactions that you had with them.
Oddly enough, I never got to see Natalie Wood again after that time, but she was my little, what do you call it, Eskimo.
Mm.
She was the first person to lure me into the
Sure.
industry. Everything to me felt like it was kind of magical in those days.
Mhm.
And in those days, we didn't have cell phones. I can't believe how brave we were. I drove out to college with a bunch of people I just got off the bulletin board, writers that would ride with you and show the gas.
Right.
And I drove to California with a U-Haul,
Right.
graduated college and just drove out and had all this good luck.
Mhm.
So sometimes I wonder how much is preordained or because you have, no, I actually believe you have to set your intentions. Because when my father was dying in Holland, he actually died there. I went back to visit and to help pack up the house. I watched American TV shows with Dutch subtitles. Dutch TV shows with American subtitles. And I would write letters to every producer. Everything's like Barnaby Jones or
Right.
All in the Family wasn't on yet. But these American TV shows done with Dutch. And I wrote handwritten letters to every producer, as many as I could, and I would mail them from Holland. I would like to get a job in the showbiz industry as an actor. And I really think
Mhm.
the intention that you set forth for your life, and then let the results go, lead you to the right direction. Somehow I just seem to fall in the right place at the right time.
Divine order.
Divine order.
Divine order always.
Totally.
Oh, that's happened to me too, coming from Ohio, little young girl and wanting to be in show business. Though I did have a family here that I was able to stay with. And I often think would I have the guts or the fortitude to come on my own and make that trip without knowing anybody here. I don't think I would have, but then we'll never know. So it happened in divine order.
But you're so gorgeous. You would have been discovered no matter where you were.
Thank you. But Pam Grier and I were going at it. She got it. I went and I took a profession in my singing career after I was Miss Black California. So I took a different path,
Yeah.
which I loved to always sing. But then I knew Pam as well, and she and I really favored a lot back then. And she went on to do, all of her famous movies
Yeah.
and things. So we are what we are and where we're
It
at.
works out how it's supposed to, I
Yes,
think.
because of-
We can thwart our own destiny by being fearful. And there's a lot of rejection in this industry. But back in the 80s and 90s, I was like going from role to role to role on hiatus. I would do A-Team, Knight Rider, Hardball, Simon and Simon, Quantum Leap, Dukes of Hazzard. I was always playing a race car driver or jumping into a Ferrari. And then the stunt lady wrecked the Ferrari on Hunter. And I had to jump over the doors to get in,
Wow.
like Starsky and Hutch. I'm like,
Right.
why do they expect an actor to jump into the car?
That way. Sure. Because I get
It was so crazy.
Thank God you were young enough and spry enough and able to do it.
I was young enough to jump over
There
it.
you go. They knew you could do it.
Any fond memories, whether it be of Mr. Schneider or some of the other people you worked with over the years?
The kissing scenes with Fred Dreyer and Hunter, he's 6'7", and I'm 5'4", or now I'm a little bit 5'3". But I had to be on an apple cart box. And then the nude scenes, of course, television. They had a body stocking on with kind of taped. So it looked like you were naked. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to dive in the water and drown. Oh, my first movie, I forgot to tell you. It was with James Earl Jones, Jose Ferrer, Lila Kedrova, and Martin Kove. Lila Kedrova won an Oscar for Zorba the Greek. Jose Ferrer, Cyrano de Bergerac. James Earl Jones, the icon. I got to work with him.
Wow.
For
First
9 weeks.
movie?
My first movie.
Oh, my God. How
in the
lucky.
Greek Isles.
Oh.
He had just
Sure.
9 weeks in Greece. Oh my God.
Why wasn't I born blonde? I should have blonde hair.
We played smuggling buddies. And then I had a big drowning scene. And I had to dive into the Aegean Sea and swim out. And then I go underwater. He finds my body. The director said, it's in the sun and I'm dead. And my leg is over there. I have in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And the director said, keep your eyes open while the sun's in your eyes and the seawater's going in and out. How
Oh,
the
God. How hard is that? Are you kidding?
But the worst thing is they wanted me to go topless and I refused to do nudity.
Good for you.
The director goes, just from behind, just pull your top off and go in the water. And he didn't tell me there's an underwater scuba diving camera, right?
Oh, no.
So I outfoxed them with the wardrobe lady. We couldn't speak the same language, but through lots of hand gesturing, because she was Greek and it's hard to understand Greek, right? And she goes, zinc oxide. She gets this tube of white grease paint and she puts it all over here. So when I pull my top off from the back, I'm swimming and it's all white, waterproof.
Right.
So they couldn't use any of the boob for the breast.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
So we had to because I didn't have a manager on the set or a union on the set.
No way.
And they'll trick actresses into doing things,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Oh, boy, that's interesting. I never knew that would work. I thought it was going to be like a reflection of the water. But
Right.
It was all white, zinc oxide.
Zinc oxide is waterproof,
Yeah, exactly.
very bright white.
Yeah.
Like you put it on noses of kids. So
Oh, for
Or
like
sunburn.
sunburns, things like that.
that worked out for you.
that was fun.
So what are your
James Earl
plans
Jones
now?
was a wonderful gentleman. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
And he brought his wife. He was married to a school teacher at the time. And such a loving actor to work with.
What was the name of that film?
The Red Tide. Oh, and then they changed it to Demon Island.
Okay. Can we
No,
see that?
It's
Wait,
called Blood Tide now. They changed the title.
Wait, Blood Tide.
Blood Tide.
So can we go on, find that somewhere
Yes.
online? I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Blood Tide.
It's a cult horror film now.
Blood
Yeah.
Tide. Okay, remember that. I will forget because I can't. And you
Blood
remember
Tide.
everybody's names from
I
other
know,
people
I'm
and
so
casting and
impressed.
all these. But back in the day, I would be thinking like, okay, James Earl Jones and
Right.
somebody has to be with me.
Starts with an M.
Actually, what's the
Or
name of that
S, or
person?
T.
Right. Right.
You guys should do a comedy show together.
We're working.
I
on
know.
it. We're practicing. This is a good.
You guys
Taking
are
it on the
funny.
road. No, just kidding.
On the road.
Yeah.
Sure. Other fond memories you may have of some of the films you worked on.
Well, I did Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David.
Right.
And that's all improv. You know, there's no script. So
Right.
when they called me and I just finished writing a script that I just won a big award for, by the way, and I want to get you in to be in the movie. It's called Venus Conspiracy. And the log line is, all human suffering is caused by Victoria's Secret. So I'm getting...
Oh, really?
It's about a plot to keep women thin and insecure. It's a diabolical pharmaceutical thriller.
A reality
Comedy.
show, huh?
Shorten it down. Get to the,
Yeah,
get to the
right?
good one. Give the last line to that.
But it's a comedy, but it's about a true, conspiracy to, it started in the 90s, or actually the 60s. But I had just written that log line down, and then my Bob Whitey, the producer of Curb, calls me up. We used to date years ago, and he goes, "You want to come in and read with Larry?" And I went, "Read with Larry?"
Of course.
I was shaking with nerves. I hate auditions. And I thought, I'm not going to get through that alive. I'm so nervous. He goes, no, it's all improv. And I went, okay. And lo and behold, I play a Victoria's Secret salesperson.
Oh my God.
It was like such a coincidence. So I go in and Larry comes in to buy a bra. And I went, oh, is it for your wife? And he goes, no, for my maid. And I went, oh, a French maid outfit?
Exactly.
I go, do you know her size? Is she a cantaloupe or a watermelon? And he loved that, and he hired me for that.
Oh, you made that up?
Yeah, you have to make it
I
up.
said it's a cantaloupe
Gotta go
or a
with that.
watermelon.
And then we get to the set, a Victoria's Secret store, and he didn't use that at all. We start playing. Everything's improv.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to say to each other. And that's kind of what you love about acting, is that you have to be a good listener. Improv is about listening. So he starts touching the bras on his face. He goes, ooh, that's soft. I went, feel free to go try it on. I'm not that kind of, I went, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, oh, that's
It's okay.
good.
Go into your inner feelings.
Yeah. So he kept that, and the watermelon cantaloupe never came up, and it was just whatever comes up. You know?
So they do have a basic, like a format or layout.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get there, like, okay, so a scenario. So, and you
Just
guys
the
have to fill in
scenario.
all the blanks out.
So he gets a writer and an actor for the same price. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there
like,
you
Sure.
go. My goodness, you can't.
That
Oh,
might save some budget.
may as well do improv all the
good for
time.
you.
Yeah.
Came up with some good lines there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we
It's
were going to talk
fun.
about some of your more recent projects.
I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book called Hiding My Brain in My Bra. It's about recovery, but it's mainly the fun. Everything turned to comedy once I got sober. I don't know why, every tragedy. And I had some really big tragedies in my life. But I don't know, you have to process. Humor is a coping mechanism. And
That is.
I had a crazy marriage that ended up, I raised 3 boys and 2 dogs, including my husband. And they all went through
He was one
puberty
of
at
the
the
dogs.
same time.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think was a turning point for you with respect to sobriety? That's always a big challenge, not only in the industry, but in life for so many people to go from social to it's a little bit out of control to say, okay, it's out of control.
Well, I had a really, really scary thing happen, but I hit my bottom one day. I had my brand new baby, and I don't want to say this here, and then I found my brother's body, literally within the first 3 months of my sobriety. But I would call it an actual miracle. I mean, I literally felt that it was time. And I walked into my first meeting. To this day, I don't know how I got there because I was trying to hide and cover, that I'm too famous to be sober. And I realized no one cares.
Right.
You're.
All the other people there are
I was
famous
such
too.
an ass. I don't know if you can say asshole. I was so obnoxious when I was out there drinking and so full of myself and arrogant. I remember yelling at the wall at the Magic Castle, "Don't you know who I am?" The wall.
Right.
Wow.
There's a wall. You have to
It's
say
not
"Open
yet.
Sesame."
Oh, right.
And there's someone behind the wall, and I'm going, "Don't you know who I am?" And my boyfriend at the time went, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know her."
Been
But
there.
this incident, this horrible thing happened where I couldn't stop drinking one night, and the next day, I went to a meeting, and I don't know how I got there to this day. And I remember they said, when I walked in, a 12-step meeting.
Right.
And the woman at the podium said, "If you don't know you're an alcoholic and you wandered into this room, let's put it this way. Virgins don't take pregnancy tests." And the whole room roared with laughter. And they were all happy. And they weren't a bunch of hobos. They were like happy, classy women in Beverly Hills that had all been in the jail at one time or other, a lot of famous actresses. And I raised my hand, and it was like a river of tears, 20 years of hell, of covering, hiding, and masking, lifted off of me. And I'd never had a drink since that first day. But I also had a series of coincidences that are uncanny. I call them God shots. Like unbelievable things, which it's too long to go into here. But
Yes, right.
I'll come back one day and tell you.
Yes, you will.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you sense that the industry has a responsibility to not enable?
Yes. I think it's odd that I think the most creative people in the industry are all sober or it's like you have to finally feel your feelings and you can't numb yourself anymore, and you get really deep with yourself and you start to self-reflect and be kinder to others and see your part in every argument. And it's like, I never knew that I had a part. Now I can see my side when I'm angry or irritated or discontent or uncomfortable. If I surrender, the word surrender is my favorite. When I'm afraid of rejection or auditions, and I just stop worrying and I go, oh, and let go and let God. I think the industry is really hard on young women. I was a sex symbol in the 80s. They forced me to be thin and perfect. And ABC made me, I had to sign a contract and I had to be in posters.
Right.
And at 35, I walked into Reuben Cannon's office, a casting director, and he said, "Wow, you look pretty good for an old lady." At 35. So the pressure was so intense that drinking was the only temporary relief I could have for a while, until I had to wake up and then face myself and realize I don't have to be perfect, you know? I'm raising a child. I have a marriage. I have to be of love and service to others, get rid of my ego, and then you can be the collaborator in showbiz, in projects where you actually can contribute. If you're all ego,
Yep.
no one wants to work with you. You know?
That's right. You don't.
How do we unravel that myth of you can be more creative if you're under the influence of some substance?
Unravel the myth. Well, nowadays, social media, they kind of catch you if, you know, who went through it? Lindsay Lohan went through a public embarrassment, getting drunk and DUIs. A lot of actors go through that. We've all kind of, back in my day, thank God we didn't have cell phones. I would have been bad enough being in the National Enquirer.
Right.
I think acting classes and managers and agents should teach to tell their clients, you're so much more beautiful when you're sober, when you're all there, when you're not masking and covering and drunk and falling down and crashing a car. I mean, one thing I don't like about these tabloid journalism, they caught Paris Hilton once with her cellulite sticking to a car seat, and they photographed it. They caught Zac Efron. They went close into his ear and said, "Does that earwax? I mean, what are they doing to us?"
Right.
They caught me looking really weird on the red carpet once, and they went, "She looks crazy. No wonder she has a stalker." There was this big article that came out when I had a stalker, and they said, some people said, "Well, she looks." I shouldn't say this. This is terrible. I accidentally moved my stalker into my house thinking he was a war hero, and he was really a convicted felon. So this is a really funny part of my book about this. Kelsey Grammer and I had this crazy website we were starting together. And it was run by an organized crime ring, we found out. So I went to the FBI and I brought in the evidence. And the stalker inserted himself into our case to kind of help us. So we both had the same stalker. TMZ put a picture of me on the red carpet that looked crazy. And it said, "Psychotic stalker wants to bash my face in." The haters wrote underneath, "She's so ugly she deserves to have her face bashed in."
Oh.
I don't think we should air this part of the show. This seems to be
No,
too
that's
dark.
what we do. No, we talk about that because when you're saying this, you're helping other people relate to what was not your norm, but how your life experience and things that have happened. So we've had people here be very open. This is a good place. This is a safe place to do that. And, you know, the fact that you are who you are today, we go through different things in life. Not everybody has a good life or a different life, or the most difficult life and different things that happen to us. So the thing that we do today is why we're here. And then we relate it to music and medicine. That's the name of our show.
Love that.
So I'm sure somewhere along the way, we're going to have you describe how you perhaps used music to kind of help reform you or just change your mindset, or, you know, you're such a lovely, beautiful lady still to this day. You know, I've been through it all. I can't sit here and tell everything about what I've been through. Lord, no.
Today we call it trolling.
We would have some bleeps and beeps and everything trolling. No, it'd be a lot of things. One day I will tell my story. I'm getting paid for it. When you say things, I've been down that dark rabbit hole too.
Oh, really?
Being in the entertainment business and drinking too much and doing too much of this, that, and the other. Find myself in the wrong place and wonder how the heck I got home. I used to say my car would drive itself automatically and get myself home after some late nights out and stuff. Oh, I was a hot mess, honey.
Okay,
But
so
look at me
yeah.
today.
So you understand. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. I'd like to hear your story. I'd like to interview you on my
Later,
podcast.
yes, you will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm glad that.
So in terms of music, what do you think how music and medicine relate to each other? And perhaps if you had some dark hours or dark times in your life, did you resort to any kind of music or something? That
Music is I actually feel, this is going to sound crazy, but I get high on music. Since I've been sober, I'm so in love with life. Everything feels better. It doesn't feel good to be numb.
Not built.
You feel everything, even the dark night of the soul is really healthy at times. But that's when I'm obsessed with music. There's so many songs I love. And growing up with my father being a violinist, I played violin when I was little. But I love everything. I love rock and roll. I love everything. I love Dr. Dre. I love Eminem. I love Peter Gabriel, Salisbury Hill. I love Elton John. There's certain songs that are just make you wake up and cheer.
That's right.
You know, Salisbury Hill is like running up the hill and undoing your past. It's like an anthem. Kate Bush, Jackson Browne. I grew up in high school listening to some uplifting suicide music by Jackson Browne.
Right, just realized it was that at the time.
Song for Adam is
Right.
tortured. It's about a young friend he grew up with who committed suicide. And if you listen to the lyrics, I used to play it all the time and I would weep. And then I would listen to his The Pretender and all the other songs he did. But I was a huge Beatles fan. When I worked at Caribou Ranch, you know, I was obsessed with the Beach Boys. And I love John Lennon and I love Michael Jackson. I still am a big Michael Jackson freak.
Right.
And then when my parents both got dementia, my stepfather and my mother, in 2017, I started taking care of them. And we also moved caregivers into the house. And I had them alone 5 or 6 days every month.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck would start, my stepfather the only thing he remembered were the lyrics to all the songs he loved. Frank Sinatra, you know, the Benny Goodman Orchestra, Doris Day songs with Rock Hudson. And so he would sing. Music really healed him.
Wow.
It does.
I really think music is my favorite drug. Laughter and music.
There you go.
I
That's
love
true.
it.
I know.
Ending on this note, what message or advice would you give for another young actress that's coming up? Could be an actor though too, that has, you know, tremendous dreams and goals, and who's getting that little finger and things of that nature.
Keep your clothes
what
on.
advice?
When you said the finger,
The finger, yeah, that finger. When you said nanny.
When you said the finger,
Yeah, not the finger, right?
Not that, right? Not
He did
that.
not
finger.
clarify that.
Okay, sure.
Who's giving
Okay.
the finger?
Okay, I could have used this. This is why I come over here and I don't have any roles for you.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I would say, first of all, don't do anything that you don't want to do. Stay true to yourself and go for it. Go for your dreams. Don't ever thwart yourself. Like I get insecure sometimes, or I'm too embarrassed, or I don't think I look thin enough. Just go and do what you really want to do. And don't think of yourself so much. Don't be self-centered. When I'm thinking of others first, everything goes better. I'm happier when I'm of love and service rather than, how do I look?
Mhm.
You know, don't get too much plastic surgery.
Yes.
And keep your clothes on if you want to. I mean, if you want to do, don't let them con you into something you don't want to do. But
Sure.
please don't give up on your dreams.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom from Lydia Cornell, several years in the business and has really done some amazing roles, and also has really come full circle with the ability to sort of look back over her life and realize that at this point she needs to take charge. And so she did that. 30 years sober is an amazing accomplishment, but it really comes from developing insight and being willing to, as she say, surrender. So I think that's a key word, but also some of the cautionary tales that we hear probably all too much now on social media are a reminder from our living legends that we really need to be careful about being true to ourselves and who we are, not being too willing to do what someone else says or wants us to do at the sake of trying to make a dollar. Let's not sell our soul. Thanks so much for joining us.